Good afternoon, everyone. Now is the time for Dhamma discussion on this Poson Full Moon Day SIL retreat. Actual Poson will be day after tomorrow, but it is convenient for all of us in this country to have the celebration of some important days like that on a weekend. So, as usual, we have scheduled the Poson Full Moon SIL retreat on this day, that is Sunday, June 12th. Previously, the Dhamma talk was given by our junior monk, who is the new resident monk in our temple. Shantahamdru is still in Sri Lanka, and he will be coming somewhere in the end of this month. But we have invited Bante Sarada to be here permanently, helping the temple and helping the members. And Dhamma talk in the afternoon was supposed to be in Sinhala, but I requested him to speak in English for some time and then switch to Sinhalese. Mainly because young monks who have studied Dhamma all in their lives in Sinhalese and suddenly come to America and start speaking Dhamma in English is not an easy thing. It takes many, many years of training to teach Dhamma in English. So I thought you have to swim to become a swimmer. So I requested Bante Sarada to speak in English, and to give the Dhamma talk in English, mainly for his practice. And he had been in Chicago Buddhist Vihara for 4 to 5 years, and during that time he went to English classes, took some English classes, but other than that, last Vesak full moon day, I asked him to speak in English, give the Dhamma talk in English, and it was very difficult for anyone, but he did it, and I'm so grateful. And in the future, we might see that he will be fluent in teaching Dharma in English. And you could see when he spoke in Sinhalese, in the second part of the Dhamma talk, it was so wonderful. His choice of words and his tone of voice and his expressions and everything was so good because he had been a Dhamma teacher in Sri Lanka for many years. So I want you, all the members, to encourage him to speak Dhamma in English, because if we are living in the United States and not being able to share some Dhamma with Westerners who had no deep understanding of Buddhism, it is very important that monks who come from Sri Lanka be able to speak the Dhamma in English. So I am glad Venerable Sarada is bold enough to take the challenge of giving a Dhamma talk in English without any prior training. So I think even today his Dhamma talk was a little bit more fluent than last time, which was the first time that he spoke Dhamma in English. Okay, so now we have we haven't received any questions over the email or anything like that, or even uh, cell phone messages. We didn't receive any. So I have this all list of questions that we received earlier for this Dhamma discussion, and I like to take one or two of these questions and spend some time on these questions. This question is a question that is written by or asked by a Westerner. Their questions are different from the questions that we receive from Buddhists who have been veteran Buddhist. That means who have been Buddhist for a long time from the childhood or something. Uh, what does it mean to be called a Buddhist? That is the question. What does it mean to be called a Buddhist? Uh, to be called a Buddhist, if someone who has taken refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Taken refuge is not a very good translation. I take refuge in the Buddha, I take refuge in the Dhamma, I take refuge in the Sangha. This was a translation given to us by British people 120 some years ago. And when we say Buddham Saranam Gacchami, without thinking, we take, I take refuge in the Buddha. We translate it. But Sarana has many meanings. And one of the new translations that I used, instead of I take refuge in the Buddha, Buddha Saranam Gacchami, I try to translate it as I go to the Buddha for guidance. Dhamma Saranam Gacchami, I go to the Dhamma for guidance. Sangha Saranam Gacchami, I go to the Sangha for guidance. Because as Buddhist, we don't seek refuge from anyone, not even the Buddha. Maybe other theistic religions might encourage followers to take refuge in God because He will take care of you in every aspect once you have the refuge. So, for example, when the little dog that is scared by someone who is coming to your house big and not very sophisticated, when the little dog see that new person is coming into your house, the little dog start barking and barking and barking. But when the new person is moving in to the house, this dog slowly takes steps back. Little by little, he is barking, but he is stepping back. To what place? To where his owner is. So why does the little dog is barking? Because that dog was scared of the new person, unknown person walking into his house. That is why. So he back up and slowly back up and finally end up in the feet, at the feet of the owner. Because if something bad happened to the dog knows my owner is going to protect me. That is the kind of, so what the dog was searching for, looking for refuge, safety, and protection. Not when we take refuge in the Buddha is not the same sense. So taking refuge is not very rational expression of Buddhism, in Buddhism. Sarana also means footstep. I go by the footsteps of the Buddha is a good translation again. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I take the footstep of the Buddha. I take the footstep of the Dhamma. Because Dhamma has many different steps. One by one, one by one, one by one. Those are steps. So I take the footstep of the Dhamma. I take the footstep. I follow the footstep of the Sangha. I follow the footstep of the Buddha. I follow the footstep of the Dhamma. I follow the footstep of the Sangha. That is a vow. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi is a vow. It is a confirmation. It is a resolution. It is also some sort of precept. You don't break it. Once you observe a precept, you try not to break it, because you stay in that resolution. I try my best not to kill any living being. That is a resolution that you take upon yourself, and then you follow it. Same thing about Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. I go to the Buddha for guidance means I go to the highest teacher. Buddha means infinite wisdom, infinite compassion, highest evolution of the brain, highest evolution of the heart. No? So evolution of the brain, ultimate evolution of the brain, ultimate evolution of the heart is called the Buddha. So you know that if the advice and guidance is coming from the Buddha, you know it is coming from the wisest brain. That means it is the most reliable advice and guidance that is coming from the Buddha. And Buddha would never give me any advice that is harmful to me because he was the most compassion, compassionate being. If I go to the Buddha for guidance, that means I am going to the guidance or advice and the teaching and advice from the best person you can find, best brain you can find, best heart you can find. So you know that I cannot go wrong by going to the Buddha for guidance. I cannot be wrong by going to the Buddha Dhamma for guidance. Dhamma is the knowledge that anyone can use to improve that person's own wisdom, that person's own compassion to the fullest, to the state of enlightenment. You follow the path of Dharma, and finally you attain to the fullest possible evolution of the brain and highest possible evolution of the heart. So cannot go wrong. Okay. And then what is the Sangha? I go to the Sangha for guidance. Sangha is all enlightened beings. But were they born enlightened? No. They were all common people at one point, having same problems like anybody has, fighting and quarreling with husband or wife, and having problems with children, having difficulties in making good decisions in life. They were like that before, just like us. We constantly get into problems because of our bad decisions in our life. And those people who are now Sangha, Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Ariha, Anagami, and Arhat. Those are the four groups of enlightened beings that we call Sangha. So Attapurisa Puggala means those who are in the path of Sotapannahood and the fruit of Sotapannahood, two different groups. Those who are in the path to Anagamihood, those who have already attained Anagamihood, another two people. Now there are four people. Sakadagami path, Sakadagami fruit, they attained. Anagami fruit, Anagami path, then Anagami fruit. You follow the path and you get to the destination. That is the fruit. And then Arahant, same thing. After being Anagamin, you keep walking, means keep practicing, keep refining and refining their mind, and finally they come to the stage of Arahant. That is the ultimate refinement of any human mind. Man, woman, child, any person, if they follow the path step by step and attain the ultimate stage of Arahanthood, then they are perfect. Arahant also means perfect. Means no any difficulties that is caused by their wrong decisions, bad actions. So that is ultimate saint. All fully enlightened ones are Arahants are same as the Buddha. Only the difference between Arahant and Buddha is the Buddha has many more skills that Arahant may not have. But what is the both of them have in common? Perfect mind. Perfect mind means completely free from all greed, all hatred, and all ignorance. These three baskets of negative mental states have so many other, in those baskets, there are so many other minor negative emotions in these three baskets. For example, greed, lust is in there, passion is in there, and attachment to different things in there, desiring to steal from something is there. And all these things are in the lower basket. Those basket, we call it hate, but anger and jealousy and ill will and rudeness and cruelty and all these things are in that basket of hate. And third basket, ignorance, foolishness, not being able to see things clearly because so many dust on the eyes or the glass that you are using to look at, and none of those things are there. So all three baskets are removed, three baskets of all human disorders are removed, the mind becomes perfect. That is the enlightenment. So I go to the Buddha for Sangha, means they are my role model. They were just like me one time. Remember Patachara, Kisa Gotami, and all these people have so many problems. Angulimala, and all these people have so many harmful thinking, harmful behavior, harmful habits, and harmful to oneself and harmful to others. And they were datta even, so much anger, so much hatred, and all these things are there in all those people, but gradually they were that didn't become fully enlightened yet, but he will be later. But all others who were some servant woman who is going to kill herself, suddenly followed the Dhamma, heard the Dhamma and followed the Dhamma, and used the Dhamma to refine her mind, and finally she became enlightened, Rajumala. So to be a Buddhist, you have to determine, I want to go to the perfect place for guidance. Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, with the three faces of the Buddha. It's not too different. Buddha cannot be differentiated from the Dhamma, and the Dhamma cannot differentiate from the Sangha. So three different aspects of the same perfect home, perfect state of being. So any wise person, after serious examination of the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha, like in the morning we talk about this Brahmin who examined the Buddha, and he was so confident that Buddha is fully enlightened, and unquestionably he was the greatest, wisest person in the whole earth. He came to conclusion by constantly observing and watching. So he's the one who told Janusoni, I have done all the experiments about the Buddha, and I know he is the perfect teacher that anyone can go for guidance. And nobody else in this country, at least he was saying, all these great Brahmins, great intellectual people, they go to the Buddha to refute, argue with him, debate with him, and they all fail in front of the Buddha because Buddha is the most perfect, wisest, and sharpest person. That is how this Patalika, maybe Patalika, the Brahmin who went to examine the Buddha, and he was telling Janusoni, who is the rich Brahmin, about the Buddha. I know for sure that Buddha is the wisest, but I have no enough wisdom to explain how wise he is, because I'm not too capable of talking about such a great being, why such a great wise person. I'm not qualified. That's what he was saying to the rich Janusoni, who was on the chariot sitting and talking to him. And after he explained how, according to his research, according to my research, I know Buddha was the best teacher. I don't know how to explain it, but I know from my own observation, this is a fact. And that's the only time that rich Brahmin got off his expensive chariot and stepped on the ground. Why? He felt so convinced that Buddha was the greatest teacher. And he got off, and he was wearing shawl around his neck. You know, all these Brahmins in India, they go all the way around. But in this case, he took the shawl out and turned it one side open. Before he covered both sides, out of respect for the Buddha, just like when we observe 8 precepts, we wear the shawl from left to right and one shoulder open, like monks when they are wear the robe. That was because he developed such a confidence after listening to other Brahmin who had spent a lot of time observing the Buddha, and he immediately became confident in the Buddha, and that is why he got off the chariot and bowed to the Buddha. And Buddha's bow to the Buddha was not there, the direction where the Buddha was, and he said, Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. That means he almost decided, Buddha will be my teacher after this, not anyone else, because I want to learn from the best school in the world. That's the Buddha. So, when you say, I go to the Buddha for guidance, I go to the Dhamma for guidance, I go to the Sangha for guidance for yourself, that is a resolution, that is a confirmation, that is an aspiration, that is a determination. After this, Buddha will be my guidance, my teacher. Dhamma will be my teacher. Sangha will be my teacher. You may be a person who is going to a Christian church or Catholic church or any Hindu temple, and maybe you are a priest in the Hindu temple. But you know that this is the perfect being for me to seek for guidance. Why do you want to seek for guidance? To eliminate all frustration and fears in my life. To avoid all mistakes that I do in my life, I want to avoid. We all want to avoid mistakes. because when you do a mistake, definitely there is a repercussion. Could be a punishment. It could be a bad result, negative result. So uh, I we all want to uh, be out of frustration and fear of not having enough money, fear of losing our friends, fear of losing our property, and all kinds of fears we have all the time. Even the person who has nothing, like a homeless person, still have fear of losing something valuable to him. Homeless person. So in other words, every being in this world are struggling to be free from fear, free from making mistakes. So what does it mean to be called a Buddhist? You can call yourself a Buddhist if you are so confident in yourself, thinking that Buddha is my teacher, Dhamma is my teacher, Sangha is my teacher. I always look up to Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. If you have such a confidence in yourself that I don't seek refuge or seek guidance anywhere else, only Buddha, only Dhamma, only Sangha, because this is where the perfect advice, perfect guidance is coming to me. So once you know this fact about yourself, you can call yourself a Buddhist. One day, when I was walking to campus in Berkeley, uh, from my house, I see a woman sitting under a tree every day. She's a homeless woman. Her bags are everything and every together, and she is sitting there very peacefully every day, find her food or something and come there and sit there. And every time when I pass that place, she put her palms together and bow to me like this. And I say, okay, wish you good health. Then something I make a wish for him, her, this maybe 55 years old lady. So I was passing by every day. She'd do this. And one day I thought to stop in front of her, and I stopped and asked you, are you a Buddhist or something? Then she asked her, she gave the perfect answer to me. I am trying to be a Buddhist. I am trying to be a Buddhist. We all our Sri Lankan and Thai and the traditional Buddhist, we call ourselves Buddhist. But this Caucasian woman who is a homeless woman tells me, I'm trying to be a Buddhist because being Buddhist is not easy. To have confidence in the ultimate teacher that you don't know for 100% that he was the ultimate teacher until you follow his path, until he follow his advice, until that person follow the Buddha's advice and you get the perfect result. Until then, you don't know the Buddha was the perfect teacher. But still you have the confidence by observation and examination and research. That's why she said, I'm trying to be a Buddhist. That was the best answer that come from any Buddhist. That is this homeless woman. So she may have been studying Buddhism for a while, and she may not. She may have read a lot of teachings, books on Buddhism, and that is why she gave me that answer. Okay. So, just because you say Buddha Saranam Gacchami from your mouth, Dhamma Saranam Gacchami, Sangham Saranam Gacchami, that's a verbal expression. Verbal expression is not that valuable. You can change it next time and you can say, I go to something else for guidance by words. But if it is coming from your heart, deeply rooted in your heart, with total confidence, if you tell yourself, I go to the Buddha for guidance, I go to the Dhamma for guidance, I go to the Sangha for guidance, I follow the footstep of the Buddha, I follow the footstep of the Dhamma, I follow the footstep of the Sangha, instead of saying, I take refuge in the Buddha. So if you want to be ever Buddhist, you have to have some kind of background knowledge about the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. If it is a very serious background, good background, that means you have much better confidence in Buddha Dhamma Sangha, because you have learned a great deal about the Buddha before you make the decision that I go to the Buddha for guidance. Buddha is my teacher, Dhamma is my teacher, Sangha is my teacher. So, now how many of you who are listening to this Dhamma discussion thinking that you are Buddhist? Because you say Buddha Saranam Gacchami, Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa, you don't become a Buddhist. No, you are, like cardboard Buddhist. So, if you really want to be a Buddhist, do research on who the Buddha is, do research on what the Dhamma is, do research who the Sangha is, and then only you can have a clear understanding of the value of the Buddha as a teacher, Dhamma as knowledge of becoming perfect, meaning cultivating your wisdom and compassion. Sangha is the people who has used the Dhamma themselves, followed the Dhamma themselves, and perfected the Dhamma. Dhamma practice has to be perfected. So the Sangha all have perfected, followed and perfected, became good at it, became people who have direct knowledge of what the Buddha is, what the Dhamma is, what the Sangha is, came from your own understanding. Not because someone told you, not because you read in a book, because you see for yourself. So there are many, many Buddhists, maybe several millions of Buddhists in the world. But according to this question, you cannot call Buddhist, because most of them are just thinking that they are Buddhist because their parents are Buddhist, because they went to the Buddhist temple for religious practices. Not even spiritual practice. You go and put some flowers in front of the altar and bow to the Buddha and light a candle, incense, and you go home and you think you are a Buddhist. No. So it's not, doesn't make you a Buddhist. So now you know the answer to this question, and it took 45 minutes, and so I don't want to take another question from this list. Now think of these things that you heard, and think of the English translation that you are always saying, I take refuge in the Buddha. I have no too much respect for that translation, because that's a very old translation, came from English people who translated Buddhist books. And so you cannot take refuge in the Buddha without understanding deeply about who the Buddha is. and what is the kind of refuge that you receive from someone like the Buddha, someone like Dhamma, someone like Sangha. So it's not the same refuge that little dog received from the owner. It's different. Okay, so then that is the end of the Dhamma discussion today. And thank you very much for participating in listening to this Dhamma discussion. And anytime if you have a question, we are expecting you to write to abstemple@gmail.com, and we take the questions and try to answer according to our ability. And now this is the end of the Dhamma discussion, and thank you for participating. And by participating in the Dhamma discussion, you generated a lot of clear understanding. When your mind is clear, that also a source of generating positive energy. When your mind is clear, you become happy. That is positive energy. So then may that merit be helpful to you for further discovery of the value of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha, and make yourself a better Buddhist. And finally, you end up being able to overcome all suffering that nowhere else you can find. Nowhere else other than Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. Not Buddhism necessarily. Yeah? Buddhism is a complex thing, but Dhamma of the Buddha, teachings of the Buddha, is a very clear, very precise, very logical, very understandable for yourself, not something that you believe, something that you see for yourself, and that is why it make you a better Buddhist than what you are maybe now. So may you all be happy and well. May all your deceased family members, wherever they may be born, also be happy and well. May all beings be happy and well. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Now the 3:15, I think, and then Dhamma discussion time is over, and then we have 3:15. About this time, Bhante Sarada will guide you with short meditation. 3:15 to 4, that is only 5 minutes, 15 minutes, and then we have no, it should be 4:15. 3:15 to 4 p.m. Oh, 45 minutes. Okay, good. And then then you take a break, and after 4:30 we start the blessing ceremony. That is I think the sutta that we decided was almost like the explanation of the Four Noble Truth, and then you will be receiving the blessing, and around 5:30 something we finish the retreat, and we see you again soon. And Bhante, we disconnect now, and Bhante Sarada will restart, and you can come back and join. No? Thank you very much.